I come from a completely different camp. I don't even have. I got to see how the Carolina Panthers perform because right now, if you tell me Baker Mayfield's starting and is healthy, I have Carolina coming in second place in the NFC South.
And what, real
Like
quick, you touched on
second place?
shout out to Byron Leftwich, former Steeler offensive coordinator, and shout out to Larry Foote, former Steeler, their newest defensive coordinator, splitting the duties with Casey Rogers. It's cool to see former Steelers in there running the show a little bit, Bulls. But yeah, I mean that Panthers take is interesting because dude,
I
Justin,
want
want
to
to jump
hear.
in
I want
first?
to hear. I
Yeah.
want to hear. I want to hear Justin's thing because Justin kind of has an initial reaction to it. Let me hear what you got to say to my take. I mean,
That
we've been leading up to it. I don't know why you're surprised. I've been mentioning it for the past month and a half.
oh my gosh. Brandon. Look,
Justin, talk to me, Goose.
I'm here I'm here with the mindset that this Saints team has an opportunity to really contend for first place in this division. And I really felt like Atlanta and Carolina were just fighting for not to be last place. Seriously, just not to be last place. Marcus
Fighting for
Mariota is the
jobs.
quarterback in Atlanta. Baker Mayfield, we don't know who's their quarterback. They have two quarterbacks fighting for a spot. Well, three fighting for a spot as the number one. While Carolina, we've said, has some talent, and they were really missing a true quarterback. I still don't believe Baker Mayfield is that true quarterback that can put them over the Saints. I think wow. I'm sorry. I really was just very much caught off guard. I was not prepared for that take, Brandon. But I think the Saints are miles ahead of where the Panthers are. Miles. It's not even close. I actually have the Carolina Panthers finishing last in the division.
I don't agree
You-
with that part, but in the words that Summer said, you know what Sam Darnold is. We can talk about him a little bit further in a moment. We know what Baker Mayfield is. We have seen the floor of those two quarterbacks, and we have seen the ceiling. With Jameis Winston, I don't feel like we have. And that wild card going along with a much better defense in New Orleans. And I mean, the Panthers, yeah, they got Brian Burns. J.C. Horn's going to be healthy this year. C.J. Henderson's fighting off the bus label. There is a good amount of talent there on the Panthers defense, but that Saints defense is far more proven. When we look at the offensive lines, when we're talking about the Panthers offensive line, it is improved. I still would take the Saints offensive line over the Panthers. You look at the talent, DJ Moore's awesome. They say behind every great receiver is a great quarterback. The Panthers don't have that. In spite of that, DJ Moore is still top 15. I think he's great, but Robbie Anderson last year was not good. We're the hope seems he's healthy. If not, Chuba Hubbard's going to have to play a huge role. I think he's very capable. But Brandon, I'll be honest with you, that Saints team is on a different level than the Panthers. Sam Darnold specifically, I don't think he will win the job. The one thing I will say with your take though is this Panthers offensive line that was trash the last few seasons has much improved. You take Ike Mekwonu from NC State, I think he's going to be one of the best tackles in this draft. I talked about Trevor Penning before. He'll be better. I think Ekwonu's awesome. I think he's going to be terrific in a few years. But look, just like Penning, rookie tackles, they're not always ready made. You look at Andrew Thomas or Alex Leatherwood in Oakland, it takes those guys time to develop. And I think Ekwonu, I wouldn't be surprised if he struggles a little bit early on in pass protection. For Sam Darnold, he needs that because without it, he gets a little bit like Jameis Winston instinctually. He can make bad plays, he can make turnovers,
Okay.
and
Okay.
when the pressure comes, that's when
Okay.
the mistakes comes and he gets finicky.
Okay. Listen, let me go because I've had it about up to here with the Baker hate. Okay, the absolute disrespect. We know what Baker is. Okay, yeah, we know what Baker is. Baker's a playoff winning quarterback. That's what we know. And you know that directly in your face, John, because he beat your Pittsburgh Steelers in the playoffs.
He got lucky, my man. The Steelers imploded.
Okay,
The
lucky,
Browns, he didn't
lucky,
beat the
lucky. And
Steelers.
then he
That
came about
defense beat the
came about
Steelers. That
one.
had three turnovers in
He
the
came,
first quarter. Baker
came about.
Mayfield's not catching interceptions and
Okay,
borderline
I'm
pick
sorry.
sixes.
I'm
He
sorry.
wasn't snapping the ball 7 feet over Ben Roethlisberger's head.
Okay, I'm
He did not
sorry.
beat the Steelers. The Browns did. The Browns could have won that game with Colt McCoy. Don't give me that. They could have.
Okay. Okay. I don't have Baker Mayfield stats in front of me in that game, but
It was ready made. It was a platter hand made by his
okay.
defense. He had decent
Yep.
stats, no turnovers,
Yep.
because he had the momentum from the first play of the drive. And again, Do you not remember Marquise Pouncey snapping the ball into the end zone?
I
They didn't
saw
even
that.
touch the football
I
before
saw
they're up
that.
7-0. And in the
I
following
saw that.
possession, you want to know what happens? Ben throws almost a pick 6. So Baker Mayfield's almost up 14-0 to get the ball. You want to know what happens the following drive? I think a 3-9 and another turnover. So Baker Mayfield, literally, they gave him a silver platter. Here's what you need. Just don't turn the football.
Here's a good thing though. Here's a good saying. It's not how you start, it's how you finish.
And the Browns almost lost that game. The Steelers almost came back and beat them. In
Did
spite
they?
of 3 turnovers. Yeah, the Steelers they made a single possession game.
No,
What
I
do you
said, did
mean?
they win?
They almost did after literally having 3 turnovers to start the game.
Oh, listen. What I do know also is that Baker Mayfield came about one play away from beating the Kansas City Chiefs in that playoff series, as well. So
Yeah, it took Mahomes going down. Chad Henne doesn't play to come in just for him to make that close
that's
game.
not Baker's fault. He's got to play the game. He's
Yeah,
not.
but
he's
no context. You're gonna think Baker Mayfield.
No,
top 10
no, I'm not
quarterback.
saying that. I'm just saying one mistake made by a receiver. I think it was I forget if it was Peoples Jones or Higgins that dove for the end zone when he shouldn't have dove for the end zone. That happened. That happened. And that was a big momentum shift when he dove for that, fumbled it through the back side or back of the end zone, whatever it was, and the Kansas City Chiefs got the ball. That was a huge momentum shift.
His boy Higgins is back in Carolina with them now.
Yeah, but Higgins is a solid receiver. He's not going to be a number 1. He's not a number 2. They've got Robbie Anderson. They've got DJ Moore. That's perfect for Baker. Baker's got CMC. If CMC could stay healthy, he's a top 5 running back in the league. We all agree with that. You spoke on the O-line. They brought in some guys. They brought in Bozeman at center, Corbett at guard. They drafted a 6th overall, Akem Ikwanu, however you said, the offensive tackle for NC State. Yeah, listen. This is Baker's 5th head coach and I think 4th offensive coordinator, right? We've gotten into the Baker what's happened with Baker and how he's basically been screwed every year that he's played with the instability in his career. Do I think Carolina's the long-term answer for Baker? I don't think Baker even sees it that way. I think Baker just wanted to get the hell out of Cleveland. He even took a freaking pay cut to get out of Cleveland. Okay. He's a free agent after this year. I think he just sees it as, let me try and do the best that I possibly can. I can leave and go to a better franchise. Listen, I'm so sick of the Baker hate, man. I really am. Like, this is a guy who entered in with a team that was 0-16. Right? I think they were like 2-30 something over the past 2 years before Baker came in. And what did Baker end that first rookie year with? I think he was 7-9.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you. That logic is always flawed because Nick Chubb, Myles Garrett, Jarvis Landry, Odell, all that talent in the offensive line came in right with Baker. So yeah, Baker turned the team around. But if you put Jimmy G there, like Justin said, that's still a winning team.
You have to have the talent around you to succeed, though.
Yeah, but the quarterbacks before him, none of them had that talent. Their best teammate was Joe Thomas at left tackle. That was it. And then Joshua Krebs returning punts.
But now look at what Cleveland did. Cleveland still ended up messing it up.
Because Baker, he was the reason why his floor playing through injuries
How is it
is why they
Baker's
didn't
fault?
make
How is
the
it Baker's
playoffs.
fault that the head coach gets fired after 4 games? Then the defensive coordinator takes.
They missed the playoffs
hold
last
on.
year. He had everything around him.
He tore his shoulder out of his socket.
And he shouldn't have played. He was playing through injuries and making his team worse.
So would they have made the playoffs if Baker didn't play?
There's honestly a case because he was pretty terrible. It wasn't just the injuries. He was making bad decisions. Bad
Because that
throws.
whole team was riddled with injuries too.
Listen,
that was a bad.
We
That was a bad year by
can
Cleveland.
talk about
They have
Cleveland.
Dearness Johnson running for 200 yards. That says a lot about that offensive line. Does not? Multiple times?
Listen, we could talk about Cleveland all we want. At the end of the day, I'm not. I know you're saying it's Baker hate. I got nothing but love for Baker, and I root for the guy. I just feel like everything that can go wrong with Carolina tends to always happen. Nobody ever stays healthy. I don't believe in that team. I don't believe in the head coach. The head coach is a desperate man. He's fighting for his job right now.
Yeah.
One bad year.
You want to know something, Justin? You want to know something? What's his best shot at keeping his job?
Starting Baker.
Starting Baker and Baker succeeding, right? Okay.
100%.
So, and you sit here and say that this is a quarterback competition. It's not a competition. It is clearly, no doubt, Baker Mayfield is a better quarterback than Sam Darnold. There's no doubt. There should
He's
be
coming
no
off
doubt.
surgery. That's the reason
Huh?
why. He's coming off surgery on his shoulder, like you're talking about coming off injuries last year.
All right. Would you take Are you going to sit here and argue Sam Darnold's a better quarterback than Baker Mayfield?
Have you watched Panthers camp? Have you seen how they looked?
I know his stats that he started off good and then he completely fell off a cliff because he can't keep the consistent quarterback play. I know that.
That stuff's always mixed up because you don't know who they're running with or who they're running against. So the stats in training camp really don't mean a thing.
So you're going to sit here and tell me Sam Darnold's a better quarterback than Baker Mayfield?
Did I suggest that?
I asked you a simple question and you still haven't answered it.
I told you before, in the slight chance Sam Darnold starts, I think the offensive line, Taylor Moton, the one good offensive lineman they kept on the right side, it's better. And if you put an offensive line around Sam Darnold, which unlike Baker Mayfield, Sam has never had, he is going to be surrounded with what he needs because his weakness is being finicky with the football. And if he has an offensive line, that can give him more time in the pocket.
Yes or no?
I'm
is
done
Sam
with the
Darnold
Sam
a better
Darnold experiment? The Sam Darnold experiment is done.
I am too.
Baker Mayfield
I don't
is
think
a million
he's
times better. And
I don't think he's a million times better.
I do think so.
I think Sam Darnold is a bust.
Bro,
I think Baker Mayfield's a legitimate starter.
Time out.
So that's a million times better.
Do you know in that 2020 season, when they made the playoffs, Baker, and then they went on to the playoffs, do you know in the last 11 games, I believe he was ranked third in the NFL by Pro Football Focus, the third best quarterback in the NFL, behind, I believe, Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers.
That's always cloudy because is he the third best quarterback in the NFL? No, he was playing well. Many quarterbacks.
I think he threw like 21 touchdowns to 3 interceptions in those last
because,
three.
Like I was talking about before,
games.
he had the best offensive line protecting him. Sam Darnold in New York had one of the worst. What I'm saying is
Odell went down that year. You remember Odell was gone.
How about the best running back in the entire conference?
I showed you his stats. I said him. 21. I think it was 21 something touchdowns to 3 interceptions.
He was playing well as a secondary piece of the team. He was just taking care of the football, making good throws on the field. He was playing well. But the point is, what I'm trying to tell you, Sam Darnold never had an offensive line. This Panthers offensive line is halfway decent, which it was in the last few years.
I don't give a crap if you give him the greatest offensive line in the world. Sam Darnold will not succeed.
I think he can start. What I'm trying to say is CMC went down last year. Darnold went down. They didn't have an offensive line. Those are facts you can't deny. And what I'm trying to tell you now is I think Baker's good. Some weeks he can be the 10th best quarterback. But there's also moments like last year where he could be one of the worst starters in the NFL. His floor is pretty good. His floor is terrible. But even his second year in the NFL.
John, you talk about me with context. You talk about me with context. You keep bringing up last year, but you don't mention
How about his second season? He hasn't always been perfect. What I'm saying is his ceiling is pretty solid. I think it's a top 12 quarterback, but the floor is one of the worst starters. And what I'm trying to tell you is Sam Darnold has never been given a type of offensive line that Baker had. And Sam's weakness specifically is handling pressure and taking care of the football at the same time. So if you now give him a decent offensive line, which he has never had, I think he could be much better, especially when you consider last year, Robbie Anderson was terrible. CMC was hurt.
Wait.
I don't want to lose
my point. I don't want to lose my point. I don't want to lose my point to ask you a question. Okay. So you said Sam Darnold's biggest issue is handling pressure.
Yes.
Baker Mayfield handles pressure very, very well. Walk on at Oklahoma. Won the job. First overall pick in Cleveland. After 0-16, you can say what you want. After 0-16, he was the if-so factor leader of that team. You can't tell me name the leader on those Cleveland Browns team when Baker was quarterback. Name him, because it wasn't. Baker was the guy. Baker was the leader. Led those teams to a 7-9 record. That's +7. That's going from 0-16 to 7-9. That's highly impressive. Does it matter I understand you can give me the talent around you. Okay, Andrew Luck had talent around him, not in the O-line department. I give you that. But Andrew Luck had talent around him. RG3 had talent around him.
Luck never had a running game, and he had
I'm not saying that, but he had talent around him to succeed.
Somewhat, not really, dude. He just had, like I said, a rookie T.Y. Hilton who he thrived with, and an older Reggie Wayne. That was it.
T.Y. Hilton was pretty nasty.
In part because of Luck. Luck made Eric Ebron a Pro Bowler.
Okay.
But listen, to harp on Sam Darnold, I'm not gonna hop on that train. I think he's a broken quarterback. Okay, he's been through a lot of stuff. I don't think any amount of talent around him is going to elevate him to a starting caliber quarterback. he will throw you into losses. That's going to happen. I still vividly remember him seeing ghosts, and I'm sure he still sees them too. So
He said that. Didn't he literally say that?
Yes.
Yes, he said that against your Patriots. But
that is so. You do not say that.
What I'm getting at
Baker
is,
Mayfield
I
would
agree.
never say that. Baker, you get this is okay. Finally, it popped in my head. This is what I wanted. Are we, John? Are we question? I just want simple yes or no's. Okay, I don't want diatribes. When you're looking at Baker Mayfield and you're evaluating him, right? Are you saying that he lacks talent?
I'm saying when he plays through injuries, because he's often injured.
No.
he
I
makes
just
bad
want a healthy
decisions.
Baker Mayfield. What does he lack for you?
I guess high-end talent. He's not
High-end talent?
He's
Okay.
not Kyler Murray slaying the football down the field. but
Okay,
he's got a good arm.
okay, I got you. Do you question Baker's do you question what's in here?
No, like you said, he
Okay,
handles
like
pressure.
and very
Pressure.
similar. Not listen. I know what I'm about to say. And I'm about to go. Ooh, no. I'm just talking about the in here stuff that we can't measure. Who's the most famous person we think about when we talk about in here? Tom
We're not
Brady.
comparing him to Tom Brady.
I'm not, and I understand, and I didn't
Baker
want that
Mayfield was
reaction. I'm
insecure
just
about
talking
losing his
about the
job.
in here stuff, and it's similar. What was Tom Brady before all that high end talent around him? People
Baker
probably
Mayfield
questioned
played
his
through
high
injury
end
because he was
talent.
afraid of losing his job.
Who was afraid of his losing his job?
Baker, he was playing through injuries in part because he wanted to keep that
Baker's
job.
not afraid of losing his job.
He was
Baker's
last year
ready
in
to go out
Cleveland.
there and compete for his job every day.
I think part of the reason why he played through his injuries is because he wanted to prove himself and he felt like he needed to prove more.
I believe that.
If he felt like he was proven he wanted to play last year, would have said, all right, you guys are going to keep me. I'm going to stay on the sidelines. Because if he did and he knew what was best for his team, and part of being in here and here, part of that is being aware, hey, I can't play through these injuries. I got to do what's best for my team. That's sitting, then resting and recovering. So later in the year, when this backup quarterback can just play adequately, better than a compromised me, I can come back and be closer to my full self, or at least competent and capable in what this team needs me to do.
Yeah, but there were already I don't think Cleveland. I think Cleveland's already shown you that they didn't really believe
Support
in Baker.
Okay, I thought you were saying surround him.
No,
Yeah,
the talent was there.
They didn't believe in him. It was obvious.
Yeah, and I think that showed. It showed if you're saying he had questions about his starting job, those don't just come out of nowhere. Especially when you're the number one overall pick, and you just made the playoffs last year and you won a playoff game. Come on,